So Nancy Pelosi doesn't think there should be any Biden-Trump debates. Welcome back to the Daily Facts, and let's get into some news. Okay, so we all know that right now what's trending is Nancy Pelosi believing that there shouldn't be any debates, which is ludicrous on its face. But let's get into this article. Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday she doesn't think there should be any presidential debates ahead of the November election, arguing Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden shouldn't legitimize a discussion with President Trump. Even though President Trump is the sitting president, he's the incumbent, and it's tradition to debate whether somebody feels that it's a legitimate discussion or not. So she just wants to snatch that from everybody. I don't think that there should be any debates, Pelosi told reporters. I do not think that the president of the United States has comported himself in a way that anybody has any association with truth, evidence, data, and facts. I wouldn't legitimize a conversation with him nor a debate in terms of the presidency of the United States, she added. I think that he'll probably act in a way that is beneath the dignity of the presidency, she said, citing what she called his disgraceful actions during the 2016 debates with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I don't think he acted disgraceful at all. I think he acted in a way that most people wanted him to act. But let's listen to what Nancy Pelosi has to say.
I myself, just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates. I do not.
All right, I'm going to stop there. Nancy Pelosi is not playing fair here. No debates? I mean, really? Debates are important. I mean, dare I say, vital to understanding the candidates. It's weaved into the fabric of this country, and it's unprecedented, ludicrous on its face to even consider the notion of no debates. But here we are actually having the discussion. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm going to give you an example of why debates are so important. And this is just a small example. Joe Biden, in his speech a few days ago at the convention, he was talking about clean water and pipes. I caught some of that, I do believe. So during the debate, President Trump could somehow work in how Biden spoke on the importance of clean water. But during the water crisis in Detroit, we remember that, right? Biden was nowhere to be found or heard. He didn't think clean water was important then, and he's been in public office for over 4 decades. That right there would prove Biden's hypocrisy. And that's just a small example. And then so from there, President Trump can tout all of his accomplishments, so on and so forth. And we know how good he is at doing that. So you see, debates allow you to understand where each candidate stands, and a debate can make or break you as a candidate. That's just my humble opinion. So when Nancy Pelosi comes out and says no debates, really what she's doing is trying to hide Joe Biden forever and ever. And their goal is to just get him into office. And then he wouldn't be doing any of the work. He would be president only in name. He wouldn't be doing anything. He wouldn't be discussing policy. He wouldn't be doing any of that. And if he were to come out and speak at any time during his presidency, which we know will not happen, they would have to keep him on script. And if he got off script, they would have to shut down the feed because he wouldn't know what's going on. So you understand, I think the idea of no debates is just Nancy Pelosi's begging. She's begging for there to be no debates because she knows that it'll be a hot mess, right? Speaking of hot messes, President Trump is asking Joe Biden to take a drug test before the debates. Now, this is loaded, right? So here they're saying the first debate between Trump and Biden, even though Nancy Pelosi feels there shouldn't be, is scheduled for September 29th. Oh, let me stop that. My apologies. So it's scheduled for September 29th. The 2 subsequent ones will take place on October 15th and 22nd, as it stands right now. It will be interesting. I think there's a possibility that there will be a debate. So U.S. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday he will call for a drug test for himself and Joe Biden before the first presidential debate, but did not offer any evidence for his suspicions about his Democratic opponent. Trump said in an interview with the Washington Examiner that he was intrigued by Biden's improved performance during the Democratic primary. So Biden was reading from a teleprompter. Now, President Trump may be implying here that, well, maybe he needed some kind of drug to help him, think straight, to get his words out. I don't know if there's a drug for that. But Joe Biden needs to stick to a teleprompter. So when he gets into an actual debate, it's going to be a mess. Donald Trump is going to trounce all over him. We already know this. Donald Trump is going to be prepared. Donald Trump is sharp. We're going to call for a drug test, Trump said, expressing surprise at the former vice president's bearing during the last debate against Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders in March. The president has no concrete evidence to support his claims, but he said, all I can tell you is that I'm pretty good at this stuff. I watched him in the debates with all of the different people, Trump said, referring to the other Democratic presidential hopefuls. Biden was close to incompetent, if not incompetent. And against Bernie, he was normal, Trump continued. I say, how does that happen? Okay, so he's saying, look, during the debates with the candidates, he was incompetent. Those are Trump's words. But somehow when he debated one-on-one with Bernie Sanders, he seemed to be normal. So we all know that Joe Biden probably will not submit to taking a drug test. But President Trump probably doesn't even think that he will, but he's putting it out there. He's planting the seed and making people think about that, right? But we all know it won't happen. All right, let's move on. So I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, Apple. Okay, so Facebook isn't happy about Apple's upcoming ad tracking restrictions. Now, we all know how Facebook loves to attach itself to our devices. When you buy a brand new spanking brand new phone, you're happy, you're elated, you've got your new tablet, whatever the case may be, whatever device you have. You're generally going to see Facebook on there already. It's already been installed. You can't run from Facebook. It's like an ex that just won't leave you alone, right? So let's get into this article. Facebook isn't happy about Apple's upcoming ad tracking restrictions. I'm happy about it, and I think you should be too. All right, so let's get into it. Apple's upcoming operating system, iOS 14, it's in the beta process right now. It's in beta, it's in testing. Could have a big impact on publishers who work with Facebook's ad network, at least according to Facebook. Well, Facebook, of course, they're the king of all kings, right? The company published a couple of blog posts yesterday outlining the potential impact of a major privacy change that Apple announced at WWDC. Namely, the fact that Apple will explicitly ask users whether they want to opt in before sharing the IDFA identifier with app developers, who can then use it to target ads. There you go. So in response, Facebook said it would not be collecting this data on its own, but it suggested that the bigger impact will be on the Facebook audience network, which uses Facebook data to target ads on other publishers' websites and apps. So that's a moneymaker. That's a moneymaker. And we all know how popular iPhones are. I mean, every other person owns an iPhone. So the fact that iPhone is threatening this and it's part of their beta, their testing, is huge. And Facebook is I would imagine right now, Mark Zuckerberg is over there at Facebook on his knees praying to them to not let this happen. So we all know Facebook and Apple and Amazon, they were before, I believe it was Congress, could have been the Senate, but I believe it was Congress. I'm pretty sure it was Congress. They were before Congress testifying. And I think, a lot of people don't think much will come out of that. And I think a lot will come out of that. And if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend that you do. It's huge. And I think on both sides of the aisle, they did a great job of questioning. And it really put a lot of dents in Amazon. So yeah, check it out. All right, let's so that's Facebook. That's what's happening with Facebook. Let's get into this story. 17-year-old charged with homicide after shooting during protests, authorities say. So we all know that there's a lot of civil unrest in Kenosha right now behind the shooting of Blake. And there was a 17-year-old who somehow managed to shoot one person in the head fatally and shoot another person in the chest and kill them and maim someone, injured someone. So this is an ongoing story, and I think it's important. He's been arrested. Now, I think it's possible that he has a case here, but let's get into it. Authorities on Wednesday said a 17-year-old had been charged with homicide after 2 people were killed and another seriously wounded by gunfire amid a chaotic night of demonstrations and destruction in Kenosha, unleashed by the weekend police shooting of Jacob Blake. Police in Anatok, Illinois, about 20 miles southwest of Kenosha, said they had arrested Kyle Rittenhouse in the killings. Now, I have a problem with the word killing. I think that's a harsh description. Maybe shooting, but anyway, that's just my humble opinion. The Anatok resident was charged with first-degree intentional homicide in Wisconsin, authorities said, but they did not specify whether he was being charged in one fatal shooting or both. Homicide and manslaughter, they have different meanings. Like manslaughter, there was no intent. Murder, so the fact that they're saying homicide, well, okay, let's keep going. The shooting came as self-declared militia members and armed counter-protesters have appeared in the city, which is reeling from days of unrest. Authorities have not said whether Rittenhouse is a member of any of the groups. Okay, so it's new, right? This just happened a few days ago, so they have to do their research. His social media feeds contained messages supporting the police and photos of himself with assault rifles. There's no law against taking pictures of yourself with assault rifles. He had been a member of cadet programs for local police and fire departments, according to department newsletters and statements. The Lakeside, Wisconsin city became the latest locus of anger over police brutality after Blake, a father of 5, was shot by police on Sunday, a recorded incident that quickly went viral and prompted a nationwide outcry. Okay, so we know all of this. I'm going to stop there. There's going to be an investigation, as there should. This young man is innocent until proven guilty. We know there's a lot of unrest out there, and we know there's been a lot of Antifa and BLM members just kicking and beating, killing. For crying out loud, there's been 30 plus people that have been killed. So it's yet to be seen if this was justifiable. And I say justifiable because up until this point, in a lot of these riots and looting and whatnot, the police, they have stood down because their mayors and governors and such have told them to do just that. So this is an ongoing story, and we'll come back and touch on it from time to time. All right, let's move on to Joe Biden on the riots. And he's saying this is Trump's America, if you can believe that. He's saying this is Trump's America. All right, so let's hear what he has to say.
While running a video of Donald Trump's America. The problem we have right now is we're in Donald Trump's America. To quote Kelly Conway, she said, and I'm paraphrasing today, that they're looking for more violence and more disruption because it helps them politically. He views this as a political benefit to him. He's rooting for more violence, not less, and it's clear about that. And what's he doing? He's kept pouring gasoline on the fire.
All right, well, I don't know about pouring gasoline on the fire. I think President Trump has told all of these cities and states, look, I'm willing to send help. You just let me know when to do it. Just say the word. President Trump has said that time and time again. This is not his America. This rioting and looting and killing stems from the death of George Floyd. President Trump didn't kill George Floyd. All right, so let's read this article. Thursday on MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell reports, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden blamed the violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and other places around the country on President Donald Trump rooting for and encouraging the violence. I mean, that is just unbelievable. Biden said the problem we have right now is we're in Donald Trump's America. You have to quote Kellyanne Conway. She said, and I'm paraphrasing today, they're looking for more violence and more destruction because it helps them politically, saying, so Kellyanne Conway is saying that the Democrats are looking for this. He views this as a political benefit for him. He's rooting for more violence, not less, and he's clear about that, what he's doing. He's pouring gasoline on the fire. We just heard him say that. This happens to be Donald Trump's America. In Donald Trump's America, COVID is out of control. He's not prepared for it. He hasn't responded to it and continues to do nothing to deal with it. Are you serious? Let's read that again. In Donald Trump's America, COVID is out of control. He's not prepared for it. He hasn't responded to it, and he continues to do nothing to deal with it. So nothing to deal with it, meaning President Trump getting the FDA to move things along quickly for a vaccine and therapeutics. So President Trump coming out when this first started and having press conferences each and every day to keep the American people apprised, abreast of what was going on. The same person, President Trump, who issued the President Trump's coronavirus guidelines for America and actually mailed those out to each and every American to let them know what to do. Is that what he's not doing? What you claim he's not doing? And I know I've missed some things, a whole lot of things, but those are just some of what he's doing. I'm not even going to continue because it's just insanity. And I don't know anything profound that Joe Biden has said about the COVID-19 pandemic. Nothing worth repeating. All right, so there you have it. That's just some of what's going on in the news. Thank you for stopping by the Daily Facts. Please do like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We'll be back again soon. Take care. Bye.